Boba Fett is a huge part of the Star Wars universe while not doing very much in the movies. He's loved by a lot of fans, but at the same time a complete joke because a lot of people just remember him for being beat by a blind guy with a stick, when in actuality he did some more stuff than that if you look into it, and that's what we'll be talking about today, is why people love Boba Fett, myself included. That being said, I have made tons of jokes about Boba Fett because it's easy to do, but I do love the character of Boba Fett, and I'm not going to be talking about the comics or all this other stuff, or like, oh, he did this in Legends. No, I'm going to be talking about the movies, what he did in the movies, and what made him awesome from what he did in the movies. When we first see Boba Fett in Empire Strikes Back, your eye is immediately drawn to him. He just looks so badass, and that's saying something because there are so many cool designs in Star Wars, but Boba Fett stands out from the pack. He just looks amazing. That Mandalorian armor is so cool. His ship, the Slave One, is one of the coolest ships in all of Star Wars, one of the few that can like rival the Millennium Falcon, and just how plain cool it is. And on top of that, his original voice, I loved. His new voice, you know, the same guy who played Jango Fett, which I don't know how to say his name, that's why I'm not saying his name. Anyways, that voice is okay, but I much prefer the original voice, and I love that voice actor. Like, he did fantastic for Boba Fett, and just the whole ambience of his character is just badass. Nevertheless, the first time you see him in the movies in Empire Strikes Back, not talking about the scene with Jabba where the crappy CGI Jabba, Han's talking to him and all the bounty hunters are surrounding him outside the Millennium Falcon. That scene's crappy and was like added in special editions. Not talking about that. Talking about the scene on the Star Destroyer where Darth Vader's got all the bounty hunters round up and he's like, hey, the Millennium Falcon, if you guys can track it down, there's a specific group of rebels. If you bring them in, just no killing them, there's a huge reward. He specifically goes up to Boba Fett and tells him,
no disintegration.
and I love that because it shows that there's a history with this character of, yeah, he didn't go up to anyone else and say anything specific. He didn't go up to Dengar or Bosk or IG-88 or any of them. He went up to Boba Fett specifically. It's just like, no disintegrating these guys. And I love that. It gives you a bit of insight of this character and the type of guy he is, and the fact that he will reduce you to ashes, which I think is awesome. And then right after that, Boba just says,
As you wish.
and it's the original voice actor did it in a very sarcastic manner compared to Jango Fett's voice actor. Like, he does it in a more obedient way, which I didn't care for, but the original voice actor did it in a bit more of a like sarcasm to it, which I really liked because not very many people talk to Vader that way. And then later, when Boba's talking to Vader on Bespin, he says,
He's no good to me dead.
and he says it in such a manner that most people that talk to Vader like that would get force choked. Nobody talks to Vader like that except for his kids and the Emperor, and that's kind of it. Everyone else would get force choked immediately by Vader, but Boba has earned such a level of respect from Vader that he can get away with talking to him like this, which is another insight into the character. It lets you know, yeah, what has this guy done to earn the respect of Vader? He's done some pretty bad stuff to be able to talk to Vader like this, and Vader not be pissed or choking him or just outright killing the guy. No, Vader does nothing about it, to where any other lesser character Vader would have extinguished by now. And something else I thought was really cool, as just a little detail, was when Luke is just snooping around Cloud City, we see Boba hear Luke draw his blaster and turn his head towards him. Like, just the tiniest little detail. Luke draws his blaster because he panics a bit, but he's like, okay, no one saw me. But Boba did see him. Boba switches his head to him as soon as he hears him draw that blaster, and I thought that was awesome, and just a nice, cool, tiny little attention to detail that just makes Boba sort of rise above the rest. And then in Return of the Jedi, we see the Pit of Carkoon. We get this awesome scene, the sail barge scene, which I loved. It's a great scene, one of the best scenes in Return of the Jedi. Such an awesome opening to the movie, and we see that just Luke is tearing people up. He's destroying everyone until Boba gets there. Boba gets his blaster immediately sliced in half, but then he ties up Luke. Seems like he's pretty much got things under control until this idiot from the sail barge shoots at Luke, and Luke blocks it back at Boba Fett, and the blast lands near him and knocks him over. And then Luke moves to the next place and starts beating those guys up. And then Boba's about to take a shot straight on Luke, but he gets hit by a blind guy with a stick. Yeah, Han hits him while he's blind with the stick, and then he has sort of the cartoony death. Up until that point, Boba was getting stuff done. Luke was wrecking house, had no problems at all. No one was doing anything to him. And then Boba comes out of nowhere and just ties him up and is about to kill him. but then he gets sort of the cartoony death, which I didn't really care for, because, you know, he's got the, he's screaming, and then he smacks into the side of the sail barge, and then he rolls into the Sarlacc pit. But up until then, he was the only one doing anything, and I thought that was pretty cool how you saw that, okay, that's why Boba Fett's a step above everyone else, because everyone else, all these scoundrels and bounty hunters on there with Jabba, they weren't doing anything, but Boba was actually getting stuff done, and you heard the fear in Han's voice when he's like, Boba Fett, where? You could hear the fear in Han's voice about this guy that we don't know very much about, but you can tell in Han's voice, yeah, this guy's not someone to be messed with, and he just tied up Luke Skywalker, who was having no troubles prior to Boba being there. Now, overall in the movies, Boba doesn't do a whole lot, but it's a lot of little things that add up, like that little head turn, how he notices Luke when he's on Cloud City, or when he just ties up Luke, like, out of nowhere because no one was doing anything, and then he's able to get there, and you think he's done. You think he's just another pleb like all these other guys that Luke is destroying, because he cuts his blaster in half, and then he's like, nope, and just ties Luke up. I thought that was really cool, and I just love the character of Boba Fett. Is he my favorite character in Star Wars? No, not even close, but I do think he's a really cool character, and he got a chump's death, which really sucked. But up until then, he did a lot of cool stuff. He's very minimal, but when he was in there, he was impactful, and he did some pretty cool stuff. And yeah, that's why I think people love Boba Fett. At least that's why I love Boba Fett. And currently in the new actual canon comics, he's doing some stuff, like he fought a blind Luke, which I thought was funny considering he was defeated by a blind Han, so there's that. And I have a feeling eventually they'll probably do a Boba Fett miniseries, since every Star Wars character is getting a miniseries, so he'll probably get one eventually. Like Darth Maul's getting one coming up, Han just got one not too long ago. We'll probably get a Boba Fett one, I hope we do, just to add more cool canon stuff, because I know in the Legend stuff he did a bunch of really cool stuff, but all that's not canon now, so hopefully we get some cool canon Boba stuff in the comics. Can't wait to see that, and he's already done some cool stuff in the canon comics. Anyways, please let me know in the comments below, why do you guys love Boba Fett, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
I've been so alone ever since I left the tribe. That's just how it goes, guess I like the lonely vibe. But they'll never know, cause I'm always on my grind. And I live a lonely life, and I'm never getting stressed, cause I gotta stay